Hey everyone, this Deadpool video is part of a collaboration with my YouTube friends. You can find the links to the other videos on screen or in the description box below. For my video, I'm going to be making Deadpool as a little teddy bear. Now, I'm going to try making him in marzipan, because I love eating marzipan, but it's not often that I use it. So I've got some ready dyed here. So I'm just rolling a small amount into a ball, and then we'll try and make it a little bit more teardrop shaped for the body. And we'll make him a little belly. So I'm going to lie mine on his back. You can put yours sat upright, it's just that you can't see it very well from this angle if I do that. So I've got 2 even sized balls for the legs, and I'm going to roll, leaving a chunky bit for my foot. Do that twice. So I'm going to push those at either side of the body, like that. Now I'm switching to fondant or modelling paste now for the black bits, but you can get marzipan ready dyed in black. So we're just going to roll this bit of black nice and thin. And we'll cut, probably rolls more than I need. We just need 2 strips for either side of his body. Just straighten them a little bit, cut off the scruffy ends. So I'm going to push that down the side. I'm going to tuck it under so it just comes part way over his leg. And we're going to bring that up to the neck. I'll narrow it a little bit where it meets the neck. Just push that down. I'm just going to push this into the joint a little bit with the back of my knife. Repeat on the other side. Ooh, and be careful because the black does go on your hands and then you'll get it all over your red like I just have done. And we'll roll 2 small ovals for the tips of his feet. 2 thin strips again. This time we're going to go around his ankle. We're just going to keep these quite slim, otherwise they'll take up the whole of his leg quite quickly. So around where you would imagine his ankle would go, just join it underneath. We want a bit of brown for the belt. Roll it long enough that it will go around his middle. We're going to put it around his waist, and you can join it at the front if you want, because the seam is going to be covered when we add his little logo. Bring it to the front, put it down. We're going to want a ball of black for the little logo on his belt. Squash that down a little bit. Make sure it's wide enough to cover that join that you've put on. And then we'll give him some little pockets for his pouches. We'll give him some things for his belt anyway. Just make sure that's a little bit wider than the width of your belt. And we're just doing 1 for each side, so we'll cut 2 rectangles. And we'll put a little V in the top of each one. And we'll stick these onto his belt. So we're going to put a circle of red within the black that we've done. Just make it just a little bit smaller if you can. Now a smaller circle of black again. Lots of circles. This time we're going to cut it in half, so you've got 2 semicircles. And then we'll put these into your red circle. Just make sure you leave a little gap in the centre. So just 2 very small balls of white that are now going to go in the black bits on his belt. If it wants to stick. Next we'll make him some arms, just keeping them quite plain in shape. And then we're going to stick these on at the shoulder, bringing them round towards the front. Now before I add his other arm, I'm going to make a little heart for him to hold. So we'll make a little heart shape. My hands are getting quite sticky with it being marzipan. Just rub a bit of icing sugar or corn flour on your hands to stop them sticking too much. Just going to use a paintbrush handle to put my indentation in the top of my heart like that. So get your little heart shape. And what I'm going to do is draw into my heart a little crack. So he's going to have a little broken heart. Put some little lines across. Or if you want, you could even roll them in black, if you can roll really thin pieces. So taking some edible dust, I'm just going to brush a little bit of black or a dark grey, you can use whichever colour you prefer, around the edge of the heart. Just with it being red and him being red, I want to make sure that you can see them apart from each other and it doesn't get camouflaged into his body. I will put links in the description box below to everything that I've used tool-wise and stuff in the video. So we've just given it a little bit of shading, and we'll roll his other hand or arm Just make sure it matches the same as your first one. I've got a little bit more than I need there, I think. And then push in place at the shoulder again, like we did with the last one. And then put the heart in place to where you want it to go. Just pushed mine on like that. Because it's marzipan, it should stick together quite easily. So I did switch the camera off, I do apologise, and I forgot that I didn't have it on record. I've literally just rolled a thin piece of black and put it around each wrist in exactly the same way that we did for the ankles, okay? And I've now got a little oval of your black that we're just going to roll like that, keeping it rounded at either end. We'll cut that in half. I'm going to place this over each shoulder. So can you see that's just fit onto the top of his shoulder, and then we'll stick the other one on the other side. Now we're going to work on the head. So I'll roll the ball first and just hold it against him so I can see size-wise if it's the size that I want or not. So because he's meant to look like a teddy, we'll change the shape a little bit. We'll widen it just a little bit like that. And we'll try, because he's wearing a mask, you won't really see his nose very well. So if you want, you can try pull it forward a little bit to give the impression of a nose. And then we'll push in slightly at either side of that nose with our fingers for the eyes. Just check size-wise it's still okay again. And we're going to want 2 ovals now in the black. Just try and get reasonably even-sized balls to start with. Just roll them a little bit oval, and we'll give them a little bit of a squash. And then we'll just pull them with our fingers to flatten them. If you prefer and you've got a cutter that you want to use, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to stick that into that eye socket that we've made like that. It can be quite big, can the black. And the tricky bit is just getting the second one to match. So squashing it down, hold it above the other one to compare size. Once you've got it about right, you can then stick that on at the opposite side. Then we're going to go back to our white for the eyes. Doesn't want to be too much white. Start with the circle, press that down, and I'll just cut that in half. And we'll use the 2 semicircles for the eyes. Putting the curve to the bottom and the straight edge up to the top. Now try and get them in reasonably even if you can. So he doesn't need a mouth or anything because he's wearing a mask. And then give him some ears. But you might want to stick the head onto the body first, so mine sits just like that. Now if your head's too big, you might find it crushes the body a little bit. Marzipan's reasonably solid though, so you can go reasonably big. So we'll start with a round ball of red marzipan. Just going to squash this down a little bit. If you can, try and squash it so that you get a little bit of a dip in the middle like that. And we're going to cut that in half. Again, you might find it easier to push that in now that we've cut it in half. And then we're going to push these onto his head just slightly at either side of the top. I'll show you that. Okay, so there's our Deadpool teddy. I do have another Deadpool video that's not a teddy. Again, a slightly cartoon version-y one if you want to have a look. Do check out the other videos in this collaboration. I'll put the links in the description box below and you can find them on screen now. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.